Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Jack OATz to go. You either know or you don't. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel on my road to 3.5k subs on this channel before the end of November. I just want to put out there, if you haven't already, do sub to the channel. There's a lot of cool information on here. But if this is not your style, don't sub. I'm not asking for every single person to sub. Only if you're interested, because I'd like to keep this this Jack OATz community just pure, with people who just want like the more in-depth stuff, whether it be come true in the series or not. There are some legitimate backgrounds to what Triad is giving us, and sometimes it does take a whole lot. So yeah, just if it's your style, it's your style. If it's not, no harm done. It really doesn't matter to me. But let's get into this, because this is something I actually meant. I was gonna just make a thread about it on Twitter, but I figured, like, I'm about to go to work in just a bit, so I might just record and just get the idea out there. So to be just as to the point as possible. It shouldn't be a secret, if you guys watch my other videos, like delving into the Dark Triad, that I do believe that these guys are from the River Styx and have been alive for a very long time, and have been essentially being used and reused by the devils of the Clipot. More so the devils deeper within the Clipot, where the River Styx should be, which is more towards the Satariel by the Abyss. So I mean, we should know the importance of what I just said there. If you guys watch the other videos, I don't want to take too long like going back into it. If you are a new watcher, just go watch some of those videos on the Dark Triad. It's one of my projects, by the way, guys, is putting these videos into just like separate playlists, so you guys can see just more clear and concise things that I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about the Dark Triad, I'll have a Dark Triad playlist up there. If I'm just talking about how the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death work, I'm just going to have Clipot and Sephiroth. So just be on the lookout for that. I'll let you guys know when the playlists are done. But yeah, I'm trying to get this channel all organized and all that stuff. I know it's a lot. Trust me, I do. Anyway, like I said, I believe these guys are from the River Styx and have been getting used and reused, which is why when we see their character info, we don't get ages. Instead, we get question marks. And as we know, Tabata is very intentional. So this is, I don't believe it's just like well, Tabata just doesn't care enough to give him an age. There's got to be a reason, and I do think it's because of that very reason. And I do even explain in some of the videos that I believe this is why Nox's parents look a lot like, well, exactly like Dante, and a bit like Vonica. I would say Vonica is more or less like, you can kind of see where it's not Vonica, but you can kind of see what I'm getting at if you look at it, right? But there's another reason why I think they're old, and this came to me I think it's just like a couple weeks ago. I'm looking at their magic and I'm thinking like, wow, okay, like of all the magic to have in this world right now, we have like fire magic, freaking wind magic, all element magic, mercury magic, what else is there? Mirror magic. There's glass magic. There's spatial magic. We have all this special stuff, and then there's stops at the body. Dante with his body magic, Xenon with his bone magic, and then Vonica, of course, with her blood magic. And I'm trying to think, like, why would it be that these guys have magic pertaining to the body? And I feel like I may have come up with the reason, and the Witch Queen's going to fall into this as well. So when we look at the Triad, we have everything that makes a living being, whether you want to go with human or even animal. You have the body, the bone, and the blood. That's exactly what you need to make a vessel. And if you guys remember, one of my earliest theories, well, not one of the earliest, but when the Dark Triad came out, one of the first theories that I had was that they were chosen because I had assumed that all devils would take on this ethereal form like we saw Zagrid in. So they would need a body, and I felt like their combination of magic might be giving them the life, that blood, that flesh, blood, and bone. And it still could, honestly, but with Dante now literally out of the Advent, we saw his circle disappear, but devils are still coming out. That's probably not even the case. But the other reason I feel like they have this magic is because they might be some of the earliest human beings that had graced the planet. Now, I know that sounds wild and crazy, but I do believe it's true. Now, I'm not saying that they're immortal, that they never die. I do feel like that these were possibly even some of our first sinners, if you will, where they landed into the river Styx first, possibly, and the devils found them valuable. Their magic is pure. This is some of the first, like I said, if they're some of the first human beings, they would have more primal magic. In my head is how I'm thinking. So they are somehow able to use and reuse them to benefit their cause. And the reason why I said the Witch Queen falls into this is because the Witch Queen is also much older than she lets on. How much older, I'm not sure, but she seemed to have known about the elves, and I think she even alluded to dwarves at a point, and is even able to curse things through her blood. So, and just the vast amount of knowledge that she has, and it's just her own pure knowledge, not anyone else's, like how the Heart princesses and queens would share knowledge to the next queen to be. It's all hers, so I feel like she kind of falls into this realm somehow of having just a more pure human lineage, which is why she is vastly strong and can have her own little hideout, if you will, just full of witches. And why she was even going for like one of the Sisters of Fate, Vanessa, due to that knowledge. So that's what I feel like, and if that's true, and they are reusing them, and Dante and Vonica are in fact, or were in fact, Noct and Morgan's like parents, then what happens here is that Noct and Morgan become they have a more primordial ancestry, which would explain why Noct seemed to have an affinity towards contracting these devils and able to combine them, that like we just saw not too long ago, which we've never seen. We've only seen people use one devil at a time, and not, I won't say effortlessly, but if he had been pushing his limits for after Morgan died, I do believe he could pull that off effortlessly, and maybe even combine all four that he had at a point. And this even still falls with Morgan. Now, the whole light and day aspect of their magic is, I do feel like this is just human nature. This whole yin and yang, and thesis versus antithesis of something. The human is both good and evil, and neither one means that is their fate. Just because Noct has shadow as his magic does not mean he is inherently evil. Is he predisposed to that evil? According to that chapter where his dad showed him how to make the ritual, and he was saying that it's obvious that that ritual needs shadow magic to enter, as Noct's father showed him. So it does predispose him to that side of magic, whereas Morgan could in fact have been predisposed to gods. But we, of course, didn't have a ritual for Morgan, or he wasn't interested, or just didn't know, or anything like that. And it could also be the reason why Morgan didn't just straight up die like everyone else did during the ritual, because remember, everyone pretty much dissolved into just like this black mist, nothing but clothes left behind. However, Morgan is left full body, but he does look beaten up. It seems like he wasn't able to get affected like everyone else, and it might have been because of that very reason. He was the very opposite of Noct, who's predisposed to this left hand side of magic, where Morgan would be the right hand path. So that's just kind of my thoughts in a nutshell. I'm curious to see what you guys think of it. I know we had guys like Svenkin, who had a type of body armor magic, who shot cannonballs, and we have like eyeball magic and stuff like that. I'm not too sure on how I feel about those disciples being as old or primordial as the Dark Triad, but I can see it. I mean, it could kind of go back to like the whole 12 disciples thing with Jesus, and I don't know how far Tabata is going into like just straight up Christian lore, but I do think it can make sense that some of those guys were possibly some of the first human beings as well. As we saw, God, what's his name? It starts with Savor, with the eye magic. He had a magic that related to African mythology, which was extremely different for the series. He's the only one who's ever had something like that. It was called the Eye of Catablasis. I'm probably butchering the name. But that is related to one of the African deities. And we've not seen anything like that. So I do wonder if some of those guys are a little more ancient in respect to when they were first, I guess, born, or when they first existed, and were somehow brought into this time. We do have devils that reside over space, time, and gravity. So it's not impossible for those souls in the River Styx that lie beyond the abyss into the Cetariel to have been brought back. We did directly see Zagrid interfere with the souls of the elves. So it is not... And I do believe that Zagrid is a part of the Cetariel. So just one of those... It's one of those things that we have to consider. Their magic is specific for a reason, I think. Like I said, I don't think Tabata is one of those writers that just goes like, okay, I need a character, I need a villain, all right, lamp magic. There's probably a reason that he's got lamp magic. Tabata's very intentional. But anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it, doesn't matter. Just trying to open up the conversation. But this is kind of what I feel for right now. Like I said, let me know on Twitter. Help me on my road to 3.5K before the end of November. It would really help for your sub, but don't sub if this is just not your style. It's okay. A lot of things get talked about on here. Some fairly controversial things that you guys have actually taken a really good liking to.